We're going to get right into it. This is, I think, a heavily requested class, something that many people are going to be needing to know, especially if this is their first experience going through a bull run. They've held on through this accumulation, bear, boring phase of crypto, and now when profits are beginning to kick in, what do you do with those profits? There's a lot of things to consider. Toby and I have been able to navigate bull runs in the past, I think quite successfully. Not to toot our own horn, but we are happy to pass on whatever we have learned in that journey onto you guys. Obviously when you're talking about taking profits from your investments, whether it be crypto or anything really, you want to know, what's your plan for those profits? What's your hierarchy of needs? And how are you going to address them in what order? What's most important? So basics for me that I think you need to figure out is, what is your debt situation? I think first and foremost, you should take care of any debt you might have. It's just a very freeing thing to have to do, and it relieves a lot of stress. What do you think?
I guess it depends on how much debt you guys have. Like if it's hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's going to be pretty hard. So if you do not, get into crypto, that's going to be really hard for you to save up that much money.
Yeah.
So crypto is one of the only, asset classes that you can pretty much get so many gains. Like you can turn 10,000 into $1 million. So I can't think of anything else like that. Bitcoin returned more than anything in the history of the world, other than like the tulip bubble or whatever. So, but that was in the 1400s. So this is a bit different. This is here to stay. And
So anyway, that's something that I think you should consider for sure. It should be top on the list for you to at least consider is your debt situation. And maybe you can chip away at it or whatever you have to do. Also, consider, are you satisfied in your core positions, whether those positions are Bitcoin, Ethereum, gold, silver, or even cash? I know that's a dirty word, fiat currencies. But for example, Toby and I, we always make sure that we have at least enough cash on hand to survive a year. So if crap hits the fan or whatever happens, we have enough we know we can survive for a year. We have a year to figure something else out.
Yeah, that's a really luxurious position that we're in.
Yeah.
Just because of the last bull run.
Yeah.
So this is what you can do for the next time. If you don't have that ability, next bull run, you will definitely be able to have that ability. We didn't start out with much. And now we can afford something like that. So
yeah,
that's the type of gains that you guys can have, and with a wise amount of profit taking, that will really help you achieve that.
Yeah. And so that's what you should do too. Once if you have no debt or if you've dealt with that situation, your next thing on the list, I think, should be to address your core positions. If you've been looking for an opportunity to stack more sats, get more Bitcoin, using profits is a great way for that. Additionally, Ethereum is going to be coming out with staking options soon, maybe at some point in the future. So if you want to be, pumping up your position in Ethereum, taking profits could be a good thing for that, as well as, of course, gold and silver. If you've been looking for a way to decentralize your other hedges against inflation, that could certainly be another way for you to do that. That also escapes the relative volatility of the cryptocurrency space as well. Next up, make a plan for different thresholds of profits. Have a worst case scenario of you only made this much in profits, or the absolute best case scenario. For example, how much do you need to just pay off your debts, or a step up from there? How much do you need to purchase a first property if you don't own any property, or maybe even your second property, if that can be a form of passive income for you as well?
I think this is it may sound boring. It may sound all right, I've heard this before on a lot of different, financial planning channels or whatever, but it's really true. We have written down what we want out of life, and so once we reach that threshold, then we can sell. I'm going to sell like regardless of whether or not we're in the middle of the bull market or at the top of the bull market. And enough to, you know, when we're comfortable with our core position and everything else like that, then I'm going to be selling off my more risky investments just to live a great life. And I don't really care what it does after that. I mean, you can make billions and billions of dollars, but I mean, if you don't have a plan for that, it's useless.
So, okay, addressing your debts, any property you might want to get into. Additionally, talking about like these best case scenarios, just something that you should be aware of could be a new reality for you with the kind of profits that you might be seeing with this cryptocurrency market. How much do you need to retire? Especially even if you're young, even if you're 20 or 30, you might be able to retire quite young if you do it right, if you plan accordingly and you're smart with how you allocate your profits. How much do you need to establish enough different streams of maybe passive income that you can manage to, say, quit your job or to afford all of your living costs or any maybe unforeseen expenses? You can tuck some profits away for, you know, just in case situations. We had a question from Dan Cryptid. Thank you for your question. He says, is it that you rebalance your portfolio? When is the right time to rebalance core positions between crypto, cash, precious metals, and how often do you do this? Like every week, month, every quarter, constantly? We don't adjust our core positions very much unless we are so comfortable with it and we see a really promising opportunity to invest in something else. I mean, we're not dipping into gold, like our precious metals. Or our cash at all, really.
This is why we have things like staking coins.
Yeah, we'll get into other forms of income.
We'll get into this, but I don't touch my Bitcoin and I don't touch my Ethereum.
Yeah.
Those are the two that I just don't touch. I don't really care too much about the rest.
Yeah. I mean, talking about our core positions, I think for a reason, because that's what we want to be holding long term. Those are, I mean, we see the long term benefits in that. So we're not really changing that too much once we are comfortable with what we have in it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes my other positions will actually reach higher than my core positions, and that is when I rebalance and I get into more risky investments. But that's pretty rare when a coin overtakes my Bitcoin position.
Jerry Macy says, do you think a retirement or bust mentality is a bad mindset to have when it comes to selling?
No,
I mean you either see enough profits to achieve retirement and like true retirement, or you sell everything and then it turns out not to be enough. Like, when you say we have these thresholds, we're never going to sell all of our crypto. We will sell a majority of our altcoins.
I'm not going to touch my Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's, I mean,
we will be fighting if
I'll probably sell, we talked about this earlier, but I would probably sell 30% of my Bitcoin to put into something else that I knew was stable at the top of the market or near the top where I think, we will actually tell you guys what we're doing.
Yeah.
But that is to put back in at a later date.